I've wanted to be a teacher for almost as long as I can remember. For my birthdays, I would ask for school supplies, and every day after school, I would sit my younger brother and sister down and have them be my students. My fourth grade teacher, Miss Meyer, had a huge impact on my life. Now, 13 years later, I'm doing what I always dreamed of. I am now Miss Boone, a fourth grade teacher at Coltrane Webb STEM Elementary School. There were many steps that got me to where I am today, and University of North Carolina at Charlotte College of Education program played a large role in preparing me for my teaching career. When I started at UNCC, I was disconnected from the university. I would sit in the back of the class where no one would notice me, so that way when it was time to go, I could be the first one out the door. Everything changed when I started in the education program. My professors would tell stories of students they taught when they were in the classroom. I started to make real connections with my professors. Throughout my time in the education program, I learned the importance of building genuine relationships. In our program, I also learned true learning comes from doing. From our very early courses in the program, we were placed in different schools in the Charlotte area. And right away, we were getting this experience that was so important to learning. With each school I went to, I always found I was there to connect with the students and to connect with the school. During my college career, I had the opportunity to travel to South Africa with Dr. Putman and some future teachers. Being in schools halfway around the world, there was a lot I learned. But still, the most important thing was to create genuine relationships. When we got to South Africa, I was planning on teaching these students about the United States. I had prepared lessons, but it only took me about 20 minutes of being there to realize I wasn't ready. I was going in planning on teaching them, but I didn't take time to get to know them or their country. I spent the next few days doing my research and getting to know the class. I was building those genuine connections. I also spent time in a classroom in a low-resource school where the teacher had 42 students in the classroom, and there wasn't even really room for me to be in that class. This teacher truly knew and cared about her students, and because she took time and cared for them, they cared for her and what she was teaching. My integrated methods block semester was probably when I really knew I was supposed to be a teacher. I had professors like Dr. Good and Dr. Benz who were excited to teach, and as a student, that made me excited to learn. These courses were so helpful to me because they provided me with resources I could use right away in my classroom. During my IMB semester, I did my school experience at Coltrane Webb, and I was so impressed with what was going on at this school. And today I get to teach at this very school, and I know I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. During my year-long in-student teaching experience, I had to complete the daunting task of EdTPA. I'm thankful to have professors like Dr. Pauly and Dr. Chapman that more than prepared me to take on this task. During the semester, my graduating class was also a part of the most emotional roller coaster ever when it comes to the licensure test. Dean McIntyre in the College of Education program did exactly what I do for my students each and every day: fight and advocate for us. We graduated in December 2015 and make up some of the best teachers in the state of North Carolina. We don't have a lot of people fighting for us right now, but we know our College of Education has our backs. I was very fortunate to have placements where I felt connected and supported. For my student teaching and first semester of teaching, I had a third grade class who taught me more than any book or education course could ever teach me. I had one student this year who was very difficult. He came to school every day with so much hurt and anger inside of him. He was always so upset, and I had days where I was crying because I didn't know what else I could do. He threw things in class, and it seemed like every day he was disrupting his classmates. I was becoming exhausted, and I didn't know why this little boy was making my first year so hard. But I was still so attached to him. When he came, he didn't have a book bag or even many clothes. His face lit up when he got new school supplies. I still remember him walking around the class telling everyone they couldn't borrow his pencil. He was so happy, but he became the reason I went to school every day. And I thought about him all summer long. At the beginning of the school year, I was texting teachers at this school asking if they knew whose class he would be in this year. A few months ago, I was preparing to meet my new students, and I was preparing for my first open house as a new teacher at my new school. I was so excited to meet my new students, and then out of the corner of my eye, I saw this familiar family. This little boy who stole my heart last year was going to be back in my class. This was his third school in 3 semesters. But this time, he had stability. He had me. And today, he's still the reason I go to school each day. Throughout my time in the education program at UNCC, my biggest takeaway was always to build those genuine relationships. And I'm happy to say I've learned my ABCs. Always be connecting.